Hey guys, so we're gonna start off this October Halloween thing. Um, so I got one of these magazines. If you can see, there it is. All right. Um, you can order this online. So basically, there's a lot of events and places on this magazine that you can attend to. Paranormal activities. We are now located in the Seabreeze area, and I'm actually going to join these guys right over there, and they are going to walk us through. It's called a ghost walk. Okay, so um, let's go learn some ghost stories.
Obviously, the ghost seems to be rather unhappy. His name is Johnson. Now, Johnson was likely here, possibly died here at Rochester, because he had a connection to the. Notice some of the finer details on it. We will tell you about it in just a moment. Ralph should be hanging out on the other side, so don't be startled if there's a gentleman in a top hat on the other side.
Oh, there he is. Good evening. Ooh, it's dark. We can't see, it's very dark, but I guess we can listen.
How's everyone this evening? Good. All right. I know it's a bit chilly, but we've had much worse weather. So a couple of years ago, the trees were bent over like this from the wind and the rain. What we have here, of course, is a tourist information center. But actually, it used to be part of an estate on Culver Road. The original, the main house, should I say, was also a house.
For me, yes, please. Thank you.
See how they cross down that? Now, some of you may get a different yes answer, but that's generally most people will cross. Show us a no, please.
Show me no, please.
And they widen out for no. So let's find out. Was there something at the gas station watching the children?
Watching the children here? Maybe? Was it Ralph? You've been watching the children, Ralph?
I have not been watching. I was young at the time too.
You trying to pawn this off on Ralph? Yeah.
Sure, blame me. Okay, were you a human spirit?
Nope.
Oh dear. Were you something other than human? Let's clear them out and see what we get.
You're a ghost. Nope.
Were you the white lady?
Nope.
Not being cooperative today, are they?
I feel like there's one ghost fighting on this side and one on this side. Like, no, I want to answer.
Is Lavinia here?
Lavinia, are you here? I feel like Lavinia's passed on, just so you know, like she's finally transitioned.
Oh.
Yeah. She hasn't been around lately.
She answered me the other night at the,
Did she?
yeah. She said she liked the murder mystery. I have a murder mystery that I wrote that we do at the Union if you're interested at all.
Yeah, the white lady's on my left.
Oh, lovely. Is Bethany here?
Something else is fighting on this side, but it's not a little girl ghost.
Bethany wasn't really a little girl.
Yeah.
She was like a teenager. So it's the white lady's hanging out with us, huh?
Yeah. Eliza, are you here? Where are you? Over there, right? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so we have the white lady with us. You'll hear her story at the end. Anyone for questions? Ask the ghost.
Have you always been here? Have you always been
tragic death.
No. Are you attached to someone here? Is there someone here you're trying to get in touch with? Closer. You
So
just
she
follow
doesn't
somebody
want to let
around?
go, does she?
Yeah, they're fighting over it. Somebody has brought a ghost on a ghost walk. How appropriate. But you don't want to say hello? No. You just want to hang out?
You just want to watch them?
I don't think anybody paid the ticket price for this one.
Ghosts are only half price.
Is that you, Daniel?
Daniel?
This is a grumpy little old lady. And she's literally fighting with the white lady for control over the dowsing rods. Like, not many people are going to go up against the white lady.
Yeah.
No, not that one. Alright, little ghost lady, do you want to tell me who you're attached to at least?
Can you point to who you're attached to, please?
No, she's not up for communicating. She's just here for the stories, which I guess that's okay. We'll comp you this time, but next time you have to pay.
I think she said no to that.
Gonna hit you with a ghost cane.
That's a very weird feeling to have two different ghosts on
That's
either
weird.
side. I don't often have that happen.
Yeah. Do you have any questions up to
Again, didn't hear anything with our ears. Later, we went back and played the tape and got an answer to each question. The first one was Lavinia, and the second one was over the kitchen sink. So I guess she was floating over the kitchen sink. You can smell ghosts. Perhaps you smelled your grandfather's favorite cigar or your grandmother's perfume. And you can feel ghosts. They can touch you in any different manner they choose. Ghosts have their own personality, so they might be kind and just give you a gentle caress, or they could be a bit sassy, or maybe a pinch, or even a slap. I've pretty much had everything happen to me based on the different haunted places I've gone. And lastly, yes, you can taste ghosts. Pretty rare. My favorite story about tasting a ghost happens at Moundsville State Penitentiary. I was on a ghost hunt when I felt pressure on my lips and I could taste cigarette smoke, but I've never smoked a day in my life. So some ghost decided it was fun to kiss me. I don't know, it was a men's prison. They might get a little desperate in there. All right, let's talk about this beautiful building now known as the Union Tavern. So earlier I mentioned Sylvester Woodman, the pirate, lived here with his wife, Abigail. So this foundation you can kind of see behind the decking is the original 1830s foundation. When the Bradstreets came in the 1850s, they tore down the wooden farmhouse but left the foundation and built this beautiful brick home for their family on that foundation. Unfortunately, Samuel didn't last too long here. He did die prematurely, leaving behind his wife, Lavinia, and at least 8 children. So, quite a sad story. But Lavinia has been known to haunt the place. I haven't encountered her too recently, but Ralph says she's still hanging out. We have many stories that involve Lavinia. Some of my favorites involve one particular waitress. Now, Lavinia is normally a very welcoming ghost. She loves inviting people into her home. This is still her home. She built this home for her family, and to this day, this is her home. So, when you come in, you might be greeted by a very delicious chocolate brownie smell. Anytime we smell that, we know that's Lavinia welcoming new guests. But Lavinia can dislike certain people, and that is the case with this one poor waitress from the Reunion Inn days. For whatever reason, Lavinia liked to pick on her. Now, this waitress, when she worked on the second floor dining room, beginning of each night, she would go and light all the candles. Sometimes she would leave the room only momentarily and come back and all the candles had been blown out. The same would happen at night when she was finishing up her shift. She had to go and blow out all the candles on the tables. Sometimes they'd end up relit. She'd go out for just a moment and come back and all the candles are lit again. So we're pretty sure that's Lavinia. But my favorite story with this waitress, and very likely Lavinia, involved the end of her shift one night. It was just the waitress and the cook left for the evening. Now the cook was down in the kitchen on the first floor, and our waitress was finishing up cleaning up on the second floor. She she decided before she went home that she wanted to use the restroom. The second floor restroom is it was a nicer one. It was the most recently renovated restroom at the time it was the Reunion Inn. So she's using that restroom when there's a knock on the door. Of course, she calls out, "I'll be just a minute." Well, the knocking continued. The waitress wasn't too keen on this, and she said, "Hold on, I'm right in the middle of my business." The knocking continues. Well, this waitress is known for having a short fuse. She's not too happy about whoever this very rude person is. She's likely thinking it's the cook because he's the only other person they know in the building at that time. Now, she finishes up, she's washing her hands, the knocking continues. She's starting to formulate a plan. She's going to get back at the cook or whoever this may be. Now, she finishes up. She gets her hand on the doorknob. The knocking's still going on. She flings the door open as quickly as she can, hoping to push that person on their butt. Unfortunately for her, she's the only one that ends up on her butt. There's nobody on the other side of the door. Now, if you have been up there, it's a very unique setup. The bathrooms are off to the back corner. There's a very tiny little hallway with two little shutter doors. The shutter doors were not moving. They were still closed. But she immediately quickly ran into the dining room because she wanted to catch whoever this was. She hadn't heard any footsteps of anyone running. She gets out into the dining room. There's no one in sight. Had they run down the stairs, she would have been able to hear and see them, but she did not experience either of those things. All just close family members. Now, in the 1960s, the town of Irondequoit decided that they really didn't need a historic cemetery. They really needed more parking and place for business. So they moved all the headstones on up to Irondequoit Cemetery, just up the road. But there wasn't really much to move of the bodies. Now, all these graves were from the mid to late 1800s, before embalming was a regular practice. People were put in pine coffins, so all this stuff became part of the earth here. There really just wasn't anything for them to move with those headstones. They just moved the headstones. So we're going to let you try out the dowsing rods here. Try and be respectful of the ghosts and respectful of the diners of the salty bread. Probably wondering what the heck we're doing over here. It's a newer restaurant, so they haven't heard about the ghost walks yet. Surprise! All right. Who would like to try some of the dowsing rods?
Just to let you know, divining rods are available for $10 a pair, and I also have some of my books available. Ghosts of Old Rochesterville, the first one I wrote about ghost stories of the area, and that's also $10 a copy, signed copy. All right. Did Jen tell you anything about Seabreeze?
I told him about the natatorium, but that's it. And the roller coaster being the second oldest still operating.
Ah, yes. Now, there are some ghosts that do hang around here. We don't know much about them because they're very tight-lipped. Of course, no one ever had any bad experiences.
I worked here this summer and I heard the story of the carousel girl, the little girl on the carousel.
Ah, okay. There's also another ghost of the carousel, and that's the gentleman who used to own, I believe it was called Dreamland at the
Yes,
time.
I was going to say Dreamland.
Yep. And one of his hobbies, passions, was the carousel, and he used to repair and refurbish the carousel horses. And they say that once in a while you can see him near the only two original horses that are left there. There was a fire back in the 70s or 80s there?
90s was the fire?
Early 90s?
The carousel?
90s, yes, it was the 90s,
Mid-90s.
Mid-90s,
Mid-90s.
okay.
Yeah, my kids were 10, 12.
They did save several of the horses, and they were refurbished and put back in, but the rest of the horses are not original. They say that the owner, from back then, can still occasionally be seen hanging out by the horses that he loved so much to refurbish. Also, I'm sure they still have the arcade here with the skee ball machines and such. And is the floor still open where you can see sort of through a little bit,
Yes, the basement to the basement.
They say that once in a while you can see lights going on in the shops underneath there, even though there's no one there. So there's definitely some interesting things that have gone on. Of course, there's the ghost or ghostly parts of the ghost train, which used to be the haunted house. You get in the train and you go through, and things would jump out at you. Well, unfortunately, one young girl decided she was going to scare her friends. She got out of the cart, and the next cart coming through is going to be her friend's. Unfortunately, her foot got caught in the tracks, and when the other cart came through, it cut the leg open. She did not survive. Now, they say that shortly after that, they took the ride down and actually stored it in a couple places. And they say that anywhere that ride had been stored, strange things happened. Although a lot of people kept their mouth very quiet about what I don't know how many stories you heard when you.
I just heard there's a horse in the woods up Culver.
Back in the early days, when white settlers were coming up here, this was a very different area. It was very swampy along the lakeshore. A lot of mosquitoes. In fact, one of the worst things here was the malaria. That particular breed of mosquito that carried malaria were prevalent up here, along with snakes and all sorts of other things. So it was sort of a tough life for the first settlers up here. It really did not become well settled until after the Revolutionary War. That's when people really started coming up here. It wasn't a lot, but there certainly were more than before. And in the early 1810 to 1820 time frame, there was a young girl named Elijah. Now, we got this name from a psychic. And indeed, we had Jen has actually communicated with the white lady, but we also had another psychic. Her name is Shelley. She could actually listen and hear the ghost talk. And this is the story that Shelley related to me from her chat with the white lady. And I assume that you were told where the white lady's castle is, right?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So anyway, in those days, the arranged marriages were not uncommon. You all know what arranged marriages are, I'm assuming. Well, she was put in an arranged marriage. She was a young girl, probably about 16, 17 years old, to an older farmer that had a farm up here. Now, again, to live up here is a rugged life, so he was not exactly a polished gentleman. There was no real love between them, but she did her work on the farm and her wife.
Okay. So this is how the inside looks. This is the bar. And then you could just eat here. Alright. So that's how it looks in the inside. Okay guys, that was a quick, nice tour of the Sea Breeze area and the Union Tavern, which is in this magazine. So I'm picking a few areas where first is local, some are not, but you know, the other ones I'll tell you more about those when we get there. So again, this New England style tavern purchased in 1819 by a rumored ex-pirate, as we heard, and they say that this place is haunted, and actual paranormal activities go on. So, yes. They're going to the White Lady Castle, which I'm not going to go tonight. There's going to be another video. And also it's in here. So again, if you guys want one of these magazines, they're free. It's hauntedhistorytrail.com. And as you can see, yes, I'm all, you know, Halloweenish. And one more thing before I end this. So she was going around taking pictures and videos of us. And I asked her, did she see any orbs around me or anything? She said no, but she picked up a spirit following me. Mid-30s. His name is either Jim or Jerry. And he's a Buffalo Bill fan. She said I see him with a Buffalo Bills jersey on, which is, I think is cool. He's not a, you know, angry guy. He's family oriented according to her. So I should now release him and let him stay here, right? But other than that, guys, it was a fantastic you know, little haunting adventure, learning things. And so there are going to be more videos to come. There's parts in here that's very dark. I apologize, that's why I stopped it, but at least you can hear it. And so anyways, thank you guys, and we'll see you next video. Like it, and more to come.